I'm Tara Joseph, looking at the week ahead in Asia with Wayne Arnold of Breaking Views. And Wayne, we're in Singapore this week, but I'm going to ask you about Japan because we've got the BOJ, the Bank of Japan minutes coming out. It's become very political what the Bank of Japan's doing. So what are we going to hear?
Well, normally minutes are something that only economists will rifle through, right?
They're pretty nerdy to read, I must say.
All right, but the key to these is that people are looking for what kind of language they use to describe what they're going to do to resuscitate the economy. And Japan, unlike the U.S., has inflation. So while the central bank, like the Fed, has become a punching bag for politicians eager to resuscitate growth, the problem is they need to get inflation. Now, if this was the U.S., they'd be talking about the danger of the Fed creating inflation. Here, they actually want the Bank of Japan to create some inflation. And the danger is that it devalues the currency and raises interest rates and drives Japan to a Greek-style crisis.
And people are upset with the Bank of Japan, right?
Absolutely.
The politicians are really aiming at them, so it could get ugly.
So we're looking for language there that suggests that they've walked this very fine line between suggesting they're going to do something and yet not causing a fiscal crisis for the government.
Let's move all the way to India. We've got a slew of data. Probably the most interesting, GDP.
Yeah.
Is India turning around?
We have to remember that every year, when things get just so bad, they can get so bad they actually start looking good.
And we're at that point.
And I think we're at that inflection point with the Indian economy. I think that the growth rate is going to improve and people will cheer from that. But it will only improve to, say, around 6%, which is still too slow for India.
It sounds pretty good if you're coming from the Eurozone or even
the United States.
States.
But it's a developing country that needs to create massive job growth to employ new entrants into the job force, and so 6% is not going to bring them to where they need to be.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that number, and we're going to move quickly to Australia. There'll be some data out showing commodities and investment and what's happening.
It's a government report on investment and mining, and I think what this is going to show is what we've already heard from the central bank there, is there's a lot of worries that investment is slowing down. There's still a lot of money going into the ground to dig dirt out and send it to China, and China's still going to need it. It just doesn't need it all as fast as it did before. And this is okay in terms of the mining industry and in terms of jobs. It just is very bad in terms of GDP because if the money goes in slower, that means that on a year-to-year basis, the growth rates turn negative. And that means that GDP could slow down a lot faster than they were hoping for.
It sounds like Australia has to adjust that it can't always be boom times, basically.
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave it there. Wayne, thanks.